Hi, today I'm going to talk about Hawaii, a 2013 movie directed by Marco Berger and stars Manuel Vigneault and Matteo Sciarrino. Again, as usual, I'm probably not saying their names right. I'm sorry. If the name of the director sounds familiar, upon further research, I found out that he also directed 2009's Plan B, also starring Manuel, as well as more recently, 2019's Un Rubio, or its English name, The Blonde One. I can't remember when or where I heard about this movie, but it was definitely on my radar for a while, so I decided to finally give it a watch. After all, though I eventually want to talk about more general mainstream LGBT+ media, the point of these videos from the start was to talk about or even shed light on a multitude of these movies that, if you're like me, probably showed up on your search for gay movies at some point. I did feel like giving my attention to this one because it was also a Kickstarter project. So, if you remember my rating system from my Mario video, you've probably noticed that this is green. If that's all the information you needed, then feel free to check the film out and come back and give me your thoughts and opinions. The one disclaimer I will give before you go, though, is that this movie is very much a slow burn. Take that as you will. Oh, and also, it's still not an English film, so subtitles. Okay, now, let's talk about Hawaii. Usually I would quote the IMDb here, but I feel like it's not completely descriptive of the movie, so here's my take. After a death in his family, Martin returns to his hometown hoping to stay with his aunt. Upon his arrival, he finds out that she no longer lives there and no one really knows how to contact her. Having nowhere else to go, he ends up being basically homeless and strives to survive doing small jobs and manual labor. This eventually leads him to Eugenio, a writer who's staying at a house working on his latest novel. After Eugenio says that he'll think about it, Martin realizes that they in fact know each other and used to be childhood friends. Now, I want to say this again, this movie is a slow burn. Interestingly enough though, I feel like this works both as a pro and a con for this movie. See, the fact that Martin is down on his luck is not some random throwaway knowledge. We spend almost 10 minutes at the very start of the movie following Martin and his struggles. And all of this is before the title card even shows up. Though it seems long, it's immediately contrasted with Eugenio's introduction, who wakes up with a roof over his head, a place to shower, and even a swimming pool. The film in that regard does a very good job of showing that clearly our two protagonists are very different and not at all in the same place in their lives. However, this is where I disagree with the synopsis of the movie on the Internet Movie Database, especially when it mentions that a power and desire game starts between the two. Not the desire part, the power part. See, relatively early in the film, around the end of the first act, Martin comes clean to Eugenio about his situation, and from there on out, Eugenio really treats him with nothing but kindness. It never came off to me as something Eugenio held over Martin's head. A good chunk of the movie is our two leads establishing a really good friendship with each other. I don't disagree with the desire part. It's made very clear that both characters feel something towards each other. The reluctance from either of our leads to make the first step beyond just a friendship is far more nuanced than just a power dynamic. We aren't even sure of Eugenio's sexuality until later on. Truthfully, I feel like this also works in the film's favor, since it manages to develop both characters individually as we find out more about them and the bond that grows between them. Going over this film again to make this video, there are in fact a lot of things to praise about this movie. I mentioned that at the beginning we spend time with Martin. Well, in the end, about the same amount of time is spent with just Eugenio to sort of bookend the story, narratively and structure-wise. Another mention goes to the score in this movie. It's mostly calm and quiet when it needs to be, but it's also accompanied by a theme that matches the tone well enough. Visually, this film also deserves major props. There is, I would assume, a very deliberate amount of reds throughout the movie, complementing the green scenery. I know it's a detail that probably only art school students and cinema lovers will notice, but it's a really nice touch. Color and wardrobe are usually rarely a coincidence in filmmaking, and it's definitely well done here. Again, putting this together, I realized that one of the scenes where both are happiest, both our characters are in fact wearing red. So, in conclusion, if you're in the mood to watch something calm where two characters reconnect with subtle hints of will they, won't they, you should definitely take the time to check Hawaii out. To me, it's a, wait, what about pineapples? Out of 10, would recommend.